Welcome to Fact versus Opinion. I'm your host, Crazy Aunt Nay. It is absolutely critical for Gen Z to be empowered with the ability to recognize a fact from an opinion with absolute certainty. It's important because we're in a climate where there's an absolutely intentional effort to lie to you and to get you to believe up is down. So how can you sort it out and know for yourself what is a fact and what is undeniably true? Let's start with a couple simple definitions that will help. Objective and subjective. What is objective? The definition is relating to or being an object, phenomenon, or condition in the realm of sensible experience, independent of individual thought and perceptible by all observers, having reality independent of the mind. What does this mean? It means if you can see it, smell it, touch it, and other people can see it, smell it, and touch it, it's real. It has an objective reality beyond your mind, hopes, or beliefs. It is real, independent of the mind. For example, what would happen if you took a rock and threw it up as high as you could and then stood under it and stared at it? What's going to happen? How do we know this? Why? Gravity, you say? Is gravity independent of the mind or perceived? What if I really want the rock to float? What if I believe it will float? Will it still bust me in the face? Yes, of course it will. This, my friends, is objective reality. That is a fact. It's undeniably true. What is subjective? Characteristic of or belonging to reality as perceived rather than as independent of mind. What does this mean? Let's pretend you and I are looking in my yard. My yard has grass and trees and shrubs. I say, look at the grass. Most people wouldn't say, what grass, unless you are delusional or being a total asshat. But this is exactly what commie clowns are doing to you. However, if I say, look at the green grass, you might say the grass isn't green, it's brown or blue or purple. We can argue about the color of the grass. That is perception. But the fact of whether or not there is actually grass is indisputable and independent of the mind. Subjective is perceived, internal in your head, and is not independent of your own mind. How do we know that? In the example, when I said no one would say what grass, even if the asshat did, you could test the hypothesis by walking over and touching the grass, smelling the grass, picking the grass. I could ask another person if they see the grass. They're likely to say yes because it is perceptible by all observers, right? It is independent of belief, desire, or delusion. However, if you ask 5 people what color the grass is, you probably get 5 answers. It's green, light green, teal, etc. In contrast to the first example where the rock will still come down and smash your face no matter how much you want to believe it will not. That is a fact. Why is this important? It's important because there's a huge psychotic movement right now to push a narrative that everything is subjective and there's no objective truth or facts. It's all perception. That does not pass the smell or the rock test. Therefore, we can conclude with a certainty that the statement, everything is subjective, is incorrect and it is also stupid. If you wonder if something is a fact or not, do the smell test first and the scientific hypothesis test second, like we just did talking about gravity. You can also ask a 2-year-old. 2-year-olds are very good at understanding objective reality because their intelligence surpasses their ability to communicate at that age. If you try to convince a 2-year-old that there was not grass, they would go pick some, come over, put it in your hand, and stare at you patiently, waiting for you to understand the obvious truth of the world. Now you will always be able to identify facts from opinion.